Lady, the problem isn't in my pants. Mex-Men.
Too many things connected there.
My co-host Hans
Zimmerman?
Gruber.
How did you go Die Hard and I did it? Yes, on this issue of Podcast for Podcasters, we're going over several reasons on why a thing should be a stuff.
And podcasted.
Yes. And this week on NPR, we are just playing animal sex noises. So, yeah, welcome to this episode. And speaking of welcoming to episodes, welcome to this issue of Mex-Men.
Yeah.
I'm Tony.
I'm Justin.
I'm Devin.
And today we're going to be going over issues 5 through 8 of Avengers Vs X-Men. And a little bit of 6.5, I believe.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah. You said it like you were the only one who didn't, but I didn't.
I know.
You did.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now I know.
Which is crazy because I know we recorded me saying it was a thing.
Last time?
Yeah.
I'll edit that out. So you seem more wrong.
And then also verses 3 and 4.
Oh,
tie
yeah.
into this.
We are doing the verses. A little
Yeah, but you know,
bit.
they just...
We can breeze by them a little bit.
Yeah, because right away, verses 3 happens at the very beginning of issue 5.
Exquisite.
Yes.
Is
Indeed.
Yeah.
I don't remember the order because I didn't know how it tied in, so I read 3 last time, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I think because technically, and this was a weird technicality that happened. That's why up front in the issue, they're like, the events of this book take place in 5. We know it came out before 5 came out, but just enjoy it because it's just fights, you know?
Before we get into that, I mean, there is a little bit of sort of news
Okay.
that I wanted to talk about for a second. There are some rumors of the Doctor Strange coming out. Mm-hmm. Mr. Fantastic, Professor X, and or
doing an Illuminati
chick
thing?
with the sword.
Magic?
No,
Ileana?
other chick with the sword thing. Psylocke. One of those 3 could possibly be in it. I think there's one rumor with Psylocke, and there's another rumor with Professor X.
Well,
and
when
Mr.
you say
Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic and Professor X, and then I think Doctor Strange, I'm automatically thinking Illuminati.
Yeah, that's part of what the part of the rumor is Illuminati.
And you already have T'Challa.
Yeah, it was kind of weird to do the Illuminati with 2 characters that we don't know anything about, though.
Don't we, though?
Yeah, we do.
Don't we?
Do we? Is we?
That's the whole point of the Illuminati. We don't know.
Who's it's?
What's it?
Because they're supposed to be, like, the leaders, and we're like, well, who are you leading? I don't even know your name, dude.
Yeah, but it might seem
Find
weird
out
at
next
first
time in their fucking movie.
on this episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I know.
But it seems like it might be a weird way to introduce them, but I also think that like it's a strong way to introduce them for how big of characters they are. Like, oh shit,
yeah,
these guys are leaders.
Yeah, and I mean, Mr. Fantastic can be on all sorts of things because he just, he stretches.
Yeah, and Charles Xavier
like
has
that
an
joke.
open mind.
Yeah, Charles Xavier can go fuck off in his chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also brings us back to Avengers vs X-Men, because man, can he suck a dick in that book.
I know.
But before we get into that, I just want to talk about another podcast real quick. The Trash Talk podcast is a podcast where they examine a new topic each week, be it a movie, TV show, comic, or game, all while having a drink. Besides the main topic of the week, there is a comic and game of the week section where they recommend a comic or a game to the audience to check out, as well as having a news section where guests guess which piece of ridiculous movie news is real or which one is fake. The Trash Talk podcast is available on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere, so go check them out.
But to pick up where we left off, the X-Men are on the moon and the Avengers are on the moon, and they're fighting. And these books are sure to tell you it's the blue area of the moon.
It's gotta be.
A whole lot.
Well, it couldn't be the red area.
No.
It couldn't be the purple area.
No.
The green area was taken. They had the whole Inhumans on the cyan spot.
Yeah,
So they had to go with blue.
it's just they really let you know it in all the books, and they say it several times in the Versus book.
Yeah.
They even make a joke of how often they're saying it in the Versus book by saying, "Oh, what? You already knew that?" in the AVX Fun Facts. So it's the 5 X-Men who would become the Phoenix Five: Cyclops, Magic, Colossus, Namor, and Emma. They're on the moon fighting the rest of the Avengers, and the Phoenix is looming over them, and Hope's already starting to absorb the Phoenix Force before the Phoenix actually arrives onto the moon. And she's freaking out because she's not ready for it, because it turned out Cyclops was right and she should have trained more.
Yeah, can you say that one more time for the people listening at home?
Yeah, that Cyclops was right and she should have trained more.
Just the middle part?
That she wasn't that she wasn't taking it seriously enough, and then decided, oh, I'm ready all on my own. And then she's all like, Wolverine, you gotta kill me, because holy shit, is this painful?
She was like 5 kicks away from being ready.
People in this issue were really ready to die.
I know, and Wolverine's like, I'm trying, kid. I really want to kill you, I promise. And then he gets right to her, and then Cyclops shoots him like, fucking no. No, you don't get to kill a child.
Stop stabbing people in the goddamn stomach. It's my thing, bub, and I'm the best there is at what I do.
And so the 2 versus fights in 3 happen during this time. That's Colossus and Thing, because in the book it's actually Colossus and Red Hulk at first, but then Red Hulk's like, fuck you, I don't want to fight you, and he hits him over to the Thing, and then Colossus beats the shit out of the Thing instead. He takes him out of the blue area of the moon, which, if you don't know, is the only area with breathable air on the moon.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where they were fighting?
The blue area.
I could have swore it was the magenta area.
Yeah, because then they have to say that Thing needs air and Colossus doesn't.
Yeah, the turquoise sector.
That sounds way cooler.
I know.
The blue area.
It at least sounds science fiction-y.
Well, that's where he took him, was like just out of the blue area into the turquoise sector. But he beats the Thing, although they're sure to make the Thing as Thing-y as possible. Like there's a Yancey Street reference where he throws a brick. There's the clobbering
like through his mouth from far away. Like what?
Right? He's like, how do you say it's clobbering time in Russian? Conrad or whatever, and
It's clobbering time.
yeah, he beats the fuck out of him. Colossus, not the Thing. The Thing, he sucks. He needs to go away. He needs to get his own book and then have that book canceled in the first issue.
Did
It?
they kind of do that, but they always give him somebody else with his books. Oh, no, they had 4 Yancey Street, and I think that got canceled, like, right away.
Oh, good. Just because he's like a 3-trick pony.
It's just, Hawkeye even talks about it in Carnage USA.
Yeah.
Where he's like, don't invite the Thing. All he ever does is talk about Yancey Street and say it's clobbering time. Like,
Yeah, I think he even had an Aunt Petunia line. Yeah.
It's legitimate. I've been reading
He has 3 lines and that's it.
I've read a little bit of the Fantastic Four now, and every time it is always just those 3 things.
The only time he's good is when he's messing with Human Torch.
Yeah.
It's the only time. It's keep it that. Stick to that. Stop with the Yancey Streets and what have you.
That's his whole personality. He's got to stick to it. Because if he loses that, what does he have?
According to The Simpsons, he fits in the Batmobile better than anybody else.
What?
You haven't seen that? Where Stan Lee's hanging out at the comic book shop and a kid wants to buy a Batman toy and he's like, don't buy the Batman toy. You want something cool like the Thing. And he's like, but the Thing doesn't fit in the Batmobile. And Stan Lee is just cramming it inside of the... He's like, see, it fits perfectly. Excelsior!
That's great. Yeah, so Colossus beats the Thing. Meanwhile, Illyana is fighting Black Widow. And this one was just annoying because they keep speaking in Russian, and I don't speak Russian. But they're writing it in Russian.
Здравствуйте.
And I don't read Russian, so I don't know what the fuck they're saying.
They should have translated that for us.
Yeah, or just do the weird little hyphen things and be like, translated from Russian, and when you just have the dialogue.
Yeah, sometimes they do that for languages that aren't even a thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think that I think they just took Russian letters and then just made up whatever. Like, it probably doesn't even read anything in Russian.
Copied and pasted it from something.
I hate when they intentionally write it real small so that you can't read it, because I always fucking try to read it. Because you can tell there's words there.
Yeah. Because you want to hope that, like, they're actually being clever and sneaking something cool in.
Yeah, like some cool little Easter egg.
And in reality, they're just being lazy.
Yeah.
It's like when they gave out the little codexes so that you can read Krakoan and translate it, but then you go back and actually decipher what they're saying.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
None of it makes any goddamn sense. Yeah.
Or we're stupid. It's one of the two. But we tried separately and couldn't figure it out.
And I'm not talking about the obvious, like, oh, next issue, and almost always it was just saying next issue.
Well, and what pissed me off is
panels.
They said words, but not in like an order that makes sense.
No.
It'd be like this, there, go. Like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So their fight was a bit cooler because it was like one really experienced fighter versus someone who's also experienced, but like, not like an assassin. And she takes her into limbo, and well, first she tries to banish. Illyana tries to banish Black Widow into limbo, and Black Widow hits her with one of the Widow Blast things that turn out to be like a grappling.
Yeah, the
wire.
old rope-a-dope.
Yeah, and like drags her into her own portal with her. So then they're both in limbo and they're fighting, but the demons are all coming around Natasha, and she just pulls out guns and starts shooting them. And Illyana's like, "Wait, what? You got guns?"
Which was kind of foolish. Like, what are you doing? It's like, what does it look like she's doing?
Yeah, she's shooting demons in the face.
But they're made out of iron.
Yeah.
Supernatural's taught me a little bit.
Well, I mean, lead.
Yeah.
Right? Bullets are lead.
It works for a lot of things.
Works for most things, especially when you're shooting them in the head.
I've tried.
Really?
Yeah. Have yet to see something that won't go down when I shot it in the face.
I don't know if you wanted that recorded.
All right, you hear that, guys? We found him.
They're all demons. Heathens.
So they're fighting, and then Illyana is like, "I'm gonna fucking leave you here," and she's like, "No, you're gonna take us back." And she's like, "I don't have to," and she puts a gun in her face and is like, "Yeah, you do, unless you want to die." And she's like, "All right, fine." And they both go back to the moon, and then Natasha's all like, "Yeah, I'm the coolest. Who's next for me to beat up?" And Illyana just makes her soul sword and stabs her, and is like, "Fucking." So like, cause there's like a comment.
I wish you guys could see Devin because he like was lazily sorting up somebody. Like, like he couldn't get a piece of meat on a shish kebab.
Yeah,
like, come on,
exactly
you fucker, just get on there.
But she was like, because early on, Natasha's like, "This ain't a game," and Illyana's like, "Yeah, it is a game." And then later, Illyana's like, "See, it had to be the game. Beat a game. See, it had to be a game. Otherwise, you would be dead right now."
This is not a fucking game.
Well, it's a comic book, so it's pretty close.
Fuck what you heard.
Yeah, I like that she said that. I feel like that redeemed the whole fight. Because
that she was holding back.
yeah, because she should have just kicked the shit out of her as soon as she got to limbo.
Yeah, back when I used to play Contest of Champions, Illyana was like my favorite character. She had this dope like kicking combo, and then swords and portals.
She had like a totally cool sword, man.
Yeah,
Like, when it comes to swords,
it was the one from
she has
Bendis's Uncanny too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that sword better.
So back to issue 5 though. The X-Men are all fighting the Avengers, and
Still?
well, yep, still, because those are just fights happening within the fight, and the Phoenix keeps drawing closer and closer. Meanwhile, Hank Pym and who I should remind you beats his wife.
He's still a lot of.
This is one of the good guys.
Avengers take care of their own.
Yep.
Yeah, unless it's a woman who's getting her ass beat by her husband, who's also on the team, then they don't take care of her.
Well, they just move her from the same room with him to the room next door.
Or if we're talking about historically, or if like you're Captain Marvel and you got raped, they're just cool with you going off with that guy, because that is a storyline.
Holy fuck. So Hank Pym and Tony Stark
Or building Voltron.
are like a Gundam, basically. Voltron's a several things that come together to make one big thing.
This
it's
is
already just a big thing.
Yeah, but this looks like a Voltron leg.
It's one part. Yeah,
Like
it
it's
does
one
look
part
like
of a greater. Yeah, but because it's one piece, I think more just a mobile suit.
It does look like a Gundam.
Yeah. So
It looks kind of like
Tony's in the
one
Iron
of the
Gundam.
Reggies from Pokemon, but like a mechanical.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid looking.
Yeah.
He like it's basically a giant gun with 2 arms and 2 legs for
So
some
it's
reason.
a Gundam.
Yeah.
Kind of. But that's not why Gundams are called Gundams.
No, but this.
In fact, they don't.
This is-
There's not an agreement on why Gundams are called Gundams. They come up with like a new reason almost every iteration of the show.
You're not seeing all the layers of what I said because it's a gun, but it's also dumb. But it's a Gundam.
Did I get that? It is dumb.
Let me explain it to you.
It's a dumb gun. Yeah. By the way, anyone wondering, it's Gundam. It's DAM.
Just move on. Nobody,
okay.
nobody cares about it.
We are aware of that.
This isn't 2002.
It could
Nobody
be-
cares about the Gundam.
Oh, dude, I'm so into it. Shut your face.
We found the fan. The one.
The one.
You're the one guy who's
I'm
going
the
to mail
one.
the podcast all pissed off. Technically, you just texting me. But
I mean, I'm doing it better. I'm live on the show. But he goes up to shoot the Phoenix in the face because, as you said, when does that not work?
yeah, all the time.
But he misses the face.
Yeah.
He hits it on the solar plexus, I guess, or something. And then it spreads the Phoenix, and the parts end up landing into the 5 X-Men that are on the moon.
I gotta point out some stuff.
Is it the blue side?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are still
Okay.
in the blue area.
blue.
Yeah.
Because
Important.
What's his name?
Because
Hawkeye
it looks yellow.
like has a repeating phrase here, and it's "shut up." All throughout the fucking verse books, he was just telling Angel to shut up.
Yeah.
And then here, like Emma Frost starts talking, he's like, "Shut up!" This dude like did not drink.
I
his
can't
coffee.
banter.
He was like so pissed off. He had no coffee, and they made him come fight.
He's been listening to a lot of Linkin Park.
And plus, he's shooting an arrow at her, and she's in diamond form, just standing there, like, really?
Yeah. And she says something like that, and he's like, shut up.
You're making me look stupid in front of my friends.
I only got arrows.
That's not cool, you guys.
I'm telling Wanda. So yeah, the issue 5 ends with the birth of the Phoenix 5.
Yeah.
And
Them flying towards Earth.
yeah, there's a cool moment where Captain America's like, ooh, this isn't over, we're gonna get you, and they go to like attack, and not Wolverine, fucking Cyclops is kind of like, yeah, talk to the Phoenix hand. And he just blows them all away. And then yeah, they take Hope and they fly to Earth.
Enter issue 6.
Well, these are the
10
Phoenix-
days later.
The Phoenix 5 is, and I'm going to name it in the best order: Peter, Colossus, Emma, Namor, Ilyana, and Scott.
Why is that the...
The reason that's the best order is because
Worst to best.
no, Penis 5. Peter, Emma, Namor, Ilyana, and Scott.
I forgot that was the thing.
I've never heard of that. Good job, Penis 5.
It has to be said. I feel like that's no coincidence.
No, they did that. They handpicked that X-Men.
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah.
The whole time was an anagram for penis.
The whole school.
Poor boy that up was like laughing to himself. He's like, I'm not telling anybody.
So, yeah, we're at the part where they bring in the worst character in the book.
Yep, 10 days later, and the Phoenix 5 have basically created a utopia on Earth. Starting with utopia.
Yeah.
I don't know why floating stairs is utopic.
Because, man, you're so great that you, like,
But like for a
that
person.
stairs don't even have to hold themselves up.
Right.
Like-
no, I get why it's cool. But like, how is it practical for like a person just walking upstairs? Like, how many times did you kind of fuck up a little bit walking up or down stairs that just didn't have the back
Yeah, I mean, technically
to
they're
the
more...
stairs, and they still had sides?
You could just have one stair and it just moving back and forth. That would be more productive. But
Yeah, like an elevator.
yeah. But like an inconvenient one where if you fall, you die.
Or like it was an elevator that was also kind of an escalator, so it only did it in like a weird, like incline and decline.
Yeah, you're right, Devin. They should put rails on these.
Yeah, I think that's a violation of code.
Yeah, like it's just dangerous. I mean, if Xavier fell off, who cares, right? But you know,
Boom, boom.
people, yeah, Boom
Can't
Boom
walk up those
or
stairs.
Roberto, they can't fly. So
Also, whose idea is it to make doors that big? Because the doors are those giant ass sci-fi doors when like like almost like the Jurassic Park doors, but those are for vehicles, so it makes sense. This is just like stone doors for people that the room is like blindingly bright. So
Yeah.
they open them and it's just fuck.
Which is funny because when they're walking up to the doors look super small. They look too small. Like Magneto's not going to fit through that door.
They do.
Opens
They
up
do look.
all the way.
Well, no, there's a line, so it's the whole fucking. Maybe it's the
Yeah.
whole ice wall that opens up, or whatever metal, whatever that is.
I'm assuming like metal or like marble. Maybe they're just, maybe they're like Magneto in Age of Apocalypse where they're just moving rocks.
Yeah, it just what we're trying to say is that you think there would be better construction in a utopic society.
They're just trying to be cool. Like,
Yeah.
look at us, we're fancy.
Just radiating power.
I'm a boss ass bitch.
Granite countertops everywhere.
So Xavier visits Utopia to talk to Scott, and Scott's like, "Hey, man."
Just like that with the goatee and everything.
Hey, man.
He's got shades on.
You like
He
what I
always has
did?
fucking shades on.
He does have shades on. And Xavier's like, "You don't even need those shades anymore, do you?" He's like, "Nah, but they're dope, right?" See what I did? It's like a beak.
They're fire, man.
Because of Phoenix, it's a beak. But it's over my eyes. Don't think about it too hard. It makes sense.
He was a dick right off the bat, though, Xavier.
Oh, he was, yeah. Because he was like, "This
He's
is
jealous that he
this
did.
is a bit much, right?"
You think maybe floating stairs? I want a floating stairs, son of my stairs at carpeting.
Because Magneto was like, oh, it's hard to imagine, like, this is where they're at. They used to be children in ours. And Xavier was like, I still think of them like that. Like, motherfucker, these guys aren't children.
Yeah, he's like, "You should."
Cyclops is 45 now.
By the way,
Kitty is 103.
when Xavier had those carpet stairs, though, he couldn't use them.
You're really into the wheelchair jokes. He can walk right now.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is like, fuck, I can finally walk, and I can't even use my stairs. He's got better stairs.
Like Wolverine finally builds a ramp at the school.
He had that weird thing that back in the 60s that would grab his chair and carry it up the stairs.
Well, then in the 90s, he just had a floating chair, which, how well does that work on the stairs? It's too long for it to, like, angle.
So bulky. How did you even get through a doorway?
I don't think he does. I think they did
Like,
that
we have an
to him.
oversized doorway here, and I don't even think it's going to get through that.
No.
Well, it floats, but he still has to go through the handicap entrance, which is a wider door.
Makes sense. Your logic tracks. So there's a conversation between the two of them that, like you said, is pretty petty on Xavier's end. And Scott's like, or he says something to Scott about how all this is too easy. There's no cost. He's like, no cost? Our fucking entire lives have been the cost. What are you talking about? No
Millions and millions of mutants had died to get to this point.
cost. Yeah. What do you mean no cost?
cost?
Because what he's talking about, why he keeps the visor, is the singular vision of Utopia for everybody
It
and
just
for
looks cool.
mutants to be free.
He just knows it looks cool.
It does look cool, but I mean, it's one part of like what you see is going on with Cyclops, how he's wrestling with both the divinity of the Phoenix power and keeping his humanity, where none of the other Phoenix Five are kind of having that same issue. They've kind of all gone straight divinity, and he's trying to remember why it's all important and what roots him into everything, and that's why him saying like the cost was too high a cost, like, is just constantly reinforcing that in his mind.
Yeah, I mean, he is the only one who kind of stays level at all times, because you have, like, the bloodlust of Namor and the jealousy between the Rasputins and just Emma making out with Namor later in the book. Like, he is kind of the only one who, like, keeps his composure all through.
Yeah. And he does have a line that basically shuts Xavier up, where he's like, yeah, this is your dream. Or no, he's like, this isn't my dream. He's like, no, it's a better one.
Yeah.
And he's like, here's your dream. I'm giving it to you. Like, it's both better than what you ever wanted, and also you're welcome. So
Yeah.
fucking stop bitching.
He's singing that song from Moana.
Yeah, the You're Welcome song.
Yeah. No, the other one.
I haven't
Also-
seen that movie, so
In the panels, you see
You guys
the
are big
X-Men.
I have a niece.
oh, okay.
in the I have a fiance, so
Oh,
she
makes
just loves
sense.
Disney
Yeah,
movies.
'cause I was like, you guys don't have kids, and I don't know why you watched Moana, both of you, but
Yeah,
you watched it together.
secretly we went together.
You're just mad we didn't invite you.
I am.
We had the armrest
popcorn.
between us up. So, by the way, in this book, the X-Men are playing baseball, soccer, and golf.
Yeah, nobody interrupts them.
No, nobody. But later that day, they still do get attacked, but those games aren't interrupted. So that's what Utopia is for them.
Yeah, you could finish all 9 innings of a baseball game. To be fair, though, baseball does take a long time, so they're kind of playing with fire every time. Do a quick game.
Yeah.
I like how Gambit's using the like a powered up baseball bat though.
Yeah. Although, like, wouldn't that blow up in his hand?
I would think so.
Yeah. Like, as soon as he hits the ball, it just explodes in
He's
front of
gonna
him.
throw the fucking baseball bat.
Also, Scott shows Xavier, like, look, barren lands are flourishing now because of us. We're redirecting resources to them. We're growing food in places where people were starving because there's not going to be any more hunger now with us doing this. We're creating it so that people have fresh drinking water all around the world, so there will no longer be anyone thirsting, and that free energy for everyone now. So there's no reason to fight over resources because we're creating free, limitless energy.
They literally say, like, we ended world hunger, like, we clean water for everybody, and everybody's, like, attacking it. Like, even fucking Black Panther is on their side. They're like, they kind of haven't done anything yet.
Yeah,
And
even Beast, and he's an asshole.
Yeah. Like, Black Panther says, like, hey, man, like, because they're trying to lie. They're trying to lie to the president.
I think that's the next issue.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, they try to lie to the president about...
Oh, no, that is later in this issue.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, Cyclops declared, and he's like, he didn't declare anything.
Yeah.
He gave you an ultimatum of, like, he will end your hunger, he will provide fresh water, free energy, and give you complete peace of your country. All you have to do is not build world-ending weapons.
Yeah, like, that's the next thing they do, because they keep saying, and we're not done. There's still so much more we can do.
And they didn't even say, like, we'll destroy you if you don't stop building those. They said, like, we won't help you if you keep building weapons.
Yeah, although, I mean, when you are the Phoenix, I think the implication there is because we can destroy you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, there's nothing you can do at that point. Like, it doesn't matter if that's just the thing you can do.
And there's a kind of a great part too, where, like, Hope is on some weird balcony thing, looking over it, or, you know, 'cause they don't believe in rails, so she's probably just on a roof somewhere, just looking over. And Scott's like, "Hey, Hope, you know you're not a prisoner here. You can leave whenever you want." And she's like, "Yeah, I know I can, but the Phoenix is just sort of calling to me, and I don't feel comfortable leaving." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you like the Phoenix, huh?" And he, like, shows, like, brings the Phoenix power up in his hand. He's like, "You want it? You want it? You want it? Oh, you can't have it,
Yeah,
no.
not for you.
Because it was for you, and you turned it away, and now it's mad. Yeah. And I have it, and look at all these amazing things we're doing now that we have it. So what could you have done with the Phoenix? You gave it up, so whatever. Fuck off."
Yeah, he's like snooze you lose, basically.
Basically.
Well, and while all this is going on over on the Avengers end, even they are saying, like Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones
Oh, that was a great...
are
yeah.
getting destroyed. Like, they're about to die, and just Colossus walks in, doesn't fight anything, saves their ass.
Yeah, they're fighting, like, electric monsters, and Colossus just talks to them. And then Captain America's like, "Well, what did they say?" He's like, "I don't fucking know. I don't speak electric."
Well, but even then, like, Cap is trying to, like, oh, we need to do something about this problem. They're saving your ass, dude, and you're still planning on how to kill them.
But I also like the idea that, you know, the Avengers were just fighting these creatures thinking, well, they're monsters. We got to stop them. Not at all trying to, like, communicate or think that maybe... They're just existing. They're not trying to cause, like, power outages or, you know, hurt people. Like, they're just living energy. Colossus comes in, talks to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll be your power source for, like, Europe. So now Europe's powered by a supervillain."
Yeah.
And then I think Captain America goes to give, like, a report to the other Avengers, and he brings that up. He's like, okay, so we had a run-in with the Phoenix, and Wolverine's like, oh, is everyone all right? Is Danny okay? And he's like, yeah, they're fine. In fact, they saved them, and apparently, supervillain now powers like all of Europe. And who knew that'd be a good idea? And Beast is like, well, I had an idea.
Yeah,
that,
like a year ago. That was my idea.
And Captain America's like, shut up.
Yeah. He literally says, not the point, Hank.
Get your big brain out of here until I need it.
There was a dope quote from Iron Fist when he's talking about the X-Men. Because Steve's like, then the X-Men showed up? It's like, X-Man. Just one, Colossus. He walked out of the siege courageous like a metal god. He walked out and saved us. So, and you see like some image of him like walking through a shining portal. You know, he does look like a god in the drawing, so it was pretty dope.
Well, it might have been in just a regular light portal, but it's coming off all the metal on him, so he's making it shine.
Yeah. So then the X-Men go about disarming the world, and there is that moment where T'Challa's like, look, I was there. I know what they said. They didn't declare anything. They gave an ultimatum. Yeah. Man, I just had a stupid moment where I looked at my own notes and I couldn't read my own handwriting.
Yeah, because your handwriting looks like shit. he will even tell you he has the worst looking handwriting. Like I thought I had some of the worst looking handwriting, and his you can't tell what it is. It could be Egyptian.
Dude, I don't know what I wrote.
That's because that's cursive though, isn't it? Is it?
Oh, I got it now.
I don't think it is. I think the pen just spilled.
No, I wrote kung fu shit.
Kung fu shit.
Because that's what happens next. Is they flash over to Kunlun because there's a bunch of kung fu shit that's gonna end up tying in. It's really stupid, but you know, whatever. Like it's cool, but like it's stupid that it ties in with X-Men stuff in a way, because it's like it came out of nowhere. Well, it came out of Kunlun, but it might as well be nowhere.
Well, now it's like there's it kind of ties in too to the current shit that they're doing with Million BC Avengers. Because the Phoenix and Iron Fist were working together at way early points in humanity.
Yeah, but I mean, it's coming from this.
Yeah, but I'm saying it ties in later to like it's something they've carried on with. So now there's like more of a history, and it makes more sense like why Iron Fist's like powers will be affected by the Phoenix.
If anything, it doesn't make sense that like they waited till after the fact, like because Kunlun should know. And they waited till after the Phoenix arrived and all this shit happened to be like, oh, wait. We're supposed to be working with that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they would have to give Iron Fist books, and they don't like to do that.
I know. So, and another interesting thing that I liked in that conversation in the Oval Office is basically the president, who's Obama, but, you know, they don't want to show you that it's Obama, other than, like, it's a black guy in the Oval Office, because that part's pretty obvious.
It could be any black guy.
It could be what's his face? The guy who is the doctor in
Keith David.
Yes, it could be Keith David.
Yeah, well, because Keith David is the president. Like he's just the president. Fuck Morgan Freeman. Everybody always says Morgan Freeman should be like president or God. Keith David is president.
Morgan Freeman is president in Olympus Has Fallen and all that stuff. But who cares about Gerard Butler
Keith
anymore?
David's the vice president in Saints Row. And the president in Rick and Morty.
He is the president in Rick and Morty.
Yeah, because Keith David's the fucking best.
But anyway, the president is basically like, yeah, I get what they're doing, and it should be the right thing to do, but call me old-fashioned. I just like holding guns at each other. Like, it's kind of just like the vibe of that conversation. And then, so the Avengers, having seen all the benevolent things that the Phoenix Five have done, decide to...
We got murked that motherfucker.
Yep. They decide what we're going to do is we're going to run in and we're going to kidnap a child and we're going to run away. Yeah. Before the Phoenix realized what was going on.
Which was kind of weird because they were like, oh yeah, she's the closest thing to an expert on the Phoenix that we've got, so we're going to steal her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that comes in later, which is also like, no.
Yeah.
Because isn't like the whole, like what you set up in your first 5 issues is that she knew almost nothing about the Phoenix, that she was preparing for something that she didn't really know, but she just knew it, like the Phoenix by name, but knows nothing about it.
Everything she knows, Wolverine knows and more. Yeah. He experienced all that crap.
Yeah. They changed their tone a bit as the book goes on, for especially Hope's character.
Going back to the Iron Fist stuff real quick, I'm going to read a passage that they had for it, but I want to let everybody know that I'm going to probably pronounce stuff wrong.
Okay.
So
If you're from Kunlun, don't get upset.
yeah, don't get upset with me, people of Kunlun. But Fong Ji Woo,
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Jesus Christ. Fong Ji Woo, 1596. Fong Ji the Silent, the Crimson Heart, the Dragon's Fist, repelled the phoenix of life and death, preventing the celestial rebirth of Earth and the collapse of the 7 capital cities.
Way to
Yeah.
go, Fong Ji-woo.
That's both cool and also made me think that you can get a Fong Ji-woo for... what was it, 1796?
No, it's 1596.
1596. $15.96
Like,
you get a Fong Ji-woo.
I don't. Jesus. It's a Qui-Gon Jinn.
It sounds like some weird sex position now when you put a price after it.
Let's get playfully racist.
I'm not. It's just how it came off was Fong Ji-woo, 1596.
At Mr. Evans.
Buy one, get two free. They really... How are they ever open? They were just giving their inventory away.
Yeah, I'm surprised they've been open this long.
Yeah.
Mr. Allen's?
Yeah.
It's not like they're offering incredible deals. It's 29 or 2 for 50.
Is it still that?
It's always been
that's-
that.
29 and 2 for 50.
Yeah.
It's shit shoes. All they do is sell Starberries.
But you get 2 for 50.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're always talking about the shoe itself.
Yeah, just one shoe.
One shoe.
You have to buy the two.
You get the pair.
Two of the same.
Man, these jokes were really funny when in 1998
When
when
people
we got
were forced to watch commercials
Yeah.
of Mr. Allen's.
Most of our audience has no idea what we're talking about.
There's a Mr. Allen's on the corner of the first major intersection by my house, so it's relevant to me.
And it's the only one for 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's not true. Detroit's like a half-hour drive, and there's a bunch of them there.
Well, yeah, but I mean that one's in Pontiac and the other one's in Detroit, so
Yeah, but after Detroit, it's, you got to drive
there's
years.
probably one in Flint.
After Michigan. Once you get out of Michigan, you can't find a Mr. Allen's.
Nary a one in Indiana.
You don't know that. It's just corn there.
There's a lot of corn there. I used to work there.
All right, so we're at the Cyclops at the summit.
Where they're kidnapping a child. Really.
Which is like a dumb idea. They're going to go into the Phoenix Five's house and steal the child without them knowing. Like, really?
Right? And then, like, of course they find out. And it's cool. They're just minding their own business. And Emma's like, should I call? And Scott's like, nah, get it.
Meanwhile, he's doing like 3 things at once in the air. He's reading a book, doing a crossword search.
Well, yeah, and he's the only one who seemed to get his powers not only amplified for what they were with the optic blast, but he also got telepathy and he got telekinesis.
I think they all got.
No, they can't all read each other's minds or read everyone's minds.
Well, because Namor, when in that image before, Colossus is floating a whole bunch of missiles in the sky, and Magic is also just sitting on a car while everything else is raising up. So they weren't.
Yeah, I think they
she's,
all
like,
kind of got
building a
that.
tractor or something.
But I mean, not everyone got telepathy.
Oh, so you're saying he's the only one?
They're the only one that they show. Like 6.5 shows that
I
specifically.
just assumed he was always communicating through Emma.
You know, it ends up being his own power. So yeah, the Avengers are kidnapping Hope, and Scott shows up to stop them, and it's really easy stopping them.
Yeah.
Which,
We got-
by the way, all of them put on armor over their armor.
Yeah, because it was special. Tony
Phoenix
Stark
armor.
augmented, to give them an edge. But
not that it helps.
right away, Thor, an actual god, punches Gabriel, a child,
Yeah.
in the gut.
In the dick. That is in the, dick. That is in the dick.
It's ambiguous. It could be his dick.
That's all dick, bro.
That face says dick.
That face says dick.
But
Yeah,
he
that
is
was fucked
obviously a child. And he shows up and he's like, fuck you.
Dick punch.
That's my go-to move.
And
I call it cock thunder.
and they were just hanging out. Hope was sitting there. She was doing the other one's hair. I think his name's like Theon or something.
Tion, I think.
Theon, yeah. The one who's like an animal.
Which he looks super fucking old in that picture for some
Yeah.
reason. He looks like what's that girl's name? Molly? Is that the old looking girl who's super strong?
Oh, yeah. I know
No, I
what you're
think
talking
Molly's just a little girl.
From Morrison's.
Yeah.
Yeah. They first of all, I like the direction change in art.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. But yeah, every once in a while, there's like a weird face thing going on. Or he draws like their faces a little boxier. That makes sense.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Ramita like they look too. Rugged.
Everything is boxy with him. Yeah. And then for some reason he can't draw a belt straight.
It's hard, man.
The belts are always like, and I don't even like, not in the sense that they're rounded because they go around a person and so they move. Like literally, the thickness of the belt will change. It'll go from thin to super thick, in an odd way that makes no sense.
Also, Cyclops looks like he's wearing a thong.
Yeah, that was a weird costume decision for the Phoenix thing.
Yeah.
That's a cock plate.
The Phoenix
Actually,
banana
That's
hammock.
not a cock plate.
That's
That
a banana
is
hammock.
small thong.
Yeah.
No, it's a cock plate. I'm standing by it.
There's not room for a cock.
He saw what Thor was doing to kids.
He manifested that cock plate immediately.
Yeah, he saw. I don't want to get punched in the dick by a thunder god.
So he goes and fucks their shit up. Scott does, and then Wanda shows up because she saw a premonition that everything ends horribly with the Phoenix. You know, not thinking at all. Well, maybe it's because Avengers agitate the Phoenix a lot while it's just trying to be a nice deity. And so Wanda's like Hope starts hiding behind Wanda for some reason. And like, this is one of the moments where, all right, this doesn't make sense. She was just told she could leave if she wanted to. And she's like, no, I don't want to because I'm drawn toward the Phoenix. And then Scott, yeah, he was kind of a dick. But in a way that
he was like, you want it?
Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah. But also, that's probably the Phoenix itself. Like, the Phoenix has its own personality, too. And it's like, you rejected me. I was meant for you, and you said no. And now they're doing all these great things. You don't get to have me. You got to appreciate this.
And we know how from the Phoenix Resurrection how badly the Phoenix takes rejection. Like, it's really...
Yeah. Yeah, it's really fickle.
Yeah. It's like, fine, bitch. I don't want you.
Iron Fist also didn't get hurt by the Phoenix.
I love how you said that. Iron Fist.
Yeah, I almost called him something else.
Yeah, like some weird Kunlun shit came up and protected him for some reason.
Yeah, randomly, and then...
But I don't think it actually gets explained later.
No, it doesn't. I literally just realized that. When I read it the first time, I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
I just skipped
It was
over
like Kunlun
whatever.
barrier. It was like, and even he was surprised. Like, what?
It's all just paper. But I love the conversation between Thor and Scott that they have right there. Because Thor says, stand aside, boy, or I will call the storm and tear open the sky.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
you threaten me with weather?
weather? Yeah,
with
that
weather?
was
He's like, I am the god of life and death now, and you're going to threaten me with weather?
That was... A lot of the dialogue is pretty great.
Yeah, he stopped Thor's hammer with his finger.
Yeah.
Dude, he just spoke. Technically lifted it. Calling it right there. Technically he's lifting it.
Well, all the promo art did show him with like the Thor's hammer and Captain America's shield, just showing like how boss he was. But anyway, Hope is suddenly like kind of hiding behind Scarlet Witch. He's like, I want to get out of here. I want to leave with you. And Scott's like, no. And she's like, wait, why? You said I could leave whenever I want. And he's like, yeah, but obviously not when they're trying to kidnap you. And also, like, they want you to use you against us. Like, why would we be okay with that?
Yeah, maybe not, like, stop us from ending world hunger? And how did we piss you off?
And then she's like, but not them. I want to go with her, Wanda. And it's like, wait, okay, why do you care about Wanda? You were the first mutant born since she eradicated mutants. Secondly, like, she also is with them. Leaving with her is leaving with them. And also, we fucking hate her. No, we don't want you to go with her.
Her husband doesn't even like her.
No. And even he's mad later when he has to keep picking her ass up. So, it's this really weird moment of, like, I think they're trying to portray, like, Scott and and especially, like, the Phoenix Five as hypocrites. Because they said you can go, but you can't. But it's like, we'll think in context here.
Yeah.
These people just can't, like, Hope was perfectly happy being there, like, minding her own business, doing her friend's hair, and then suddenly they get attacked, and then she's like, yeah, I want to go with them.
Yeah, punch a friend in the dick.
Like, what does she gain by going with them?
It's like, who's on that team? The man who's tried to kill her twice, the woman who's eradicated their species. Like, what?
Yeah.
The bigot who keeps saying it's all okay.
The guy who turned you in the last book.
Well, yeah, the weird guy who tried to kill her twice.
Yeah. The stomach McStabby.
His stomach big stabby. Yeah. So it's such a weird, like, because if you're paying attention to any of this series, it's so obvious that the X-Men are the good guys and the Avengers are the assholes. But, like, the whole time it's also obvious that they keep trying to make the Avengers the good guys. It's like, how?
And
Do you not realize what you're writing?
It's so
how
mu-
are they the good? How are they the heroes?
it's so much bullshit that this book is the reason that people started hating Cyclops for a long time. Because he's in the right, like, throughout the whole thing.
Until the very end.
Even at the very end.
Well, at the very end, he
tells
does
the
something
dude,
we don't
like-
mind, but
Like, like I brought it up to you before, if I'm covered in knives,
spoilers.
and you're like, but, like, if I'm covered in knives, and you're like, hey, give me a hug, man. And I'm like, don't hug me, I'll stab you. And you're like, no, man, give me a hug. And I'm like, no, dude. And then you give me a hug, and you are dying.
'Cause
and
you
you're
got
like,
stabbed.
You killed me. And I'm like, I did no such thing.
But you drew me in with those baby blue eyes.
They're like, you had the knives. Like, what the fuck? Like, he got stabbed, and you had the knives.
Yeah.
It's like, he hugged me.
Or they fail to mention the fact that you put the other guy put all the knives on you in the first place.
Yeah. Like, I wasn't expecting somebody to split the knife into 5 pieces, and then all the knives come onto me, and then I start stabbing people.
with hugs?
Yeah. That I did not
Are
consent
against your
to.
will.
I did not consent to these hugs.
I'm the victim here.
Yeah.
You're forcing me into murder.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all got blamed for that shit. Like they specifically did it when
Yeah.
everybody didn't blame Jean.
But he gets blamed
Namor-
so hard.
Namor kind of did it.
Na-
Yeah, but
yeah.
you had the Phoenix in though.
But he also gets blamed the least. I mean,
Which is, well,
T'Challa holds a grudge.
Yeah.
Rightfully.
because he's the smart one of the group and realized where blame should go because he's
Yeah.
also the only one who's on their side the whole time.
Well, that's why Namor fucks up first, is because he is a dick, and that's
Yeah.
also why Emma is fucking up because she's a dick.
Yeah. And that actually ties into 6.5 now.
Dicks and
Nice
6.5.
segue.
No, but that
Tied into dicks
no, a point that gets made is that
is dicks. Dicks come to a point.
the point that gets made is that the Phoenix amplifies who you are to such a high degree. So
Yeah.
6.5 is
Gene
basically
happens to love killing planets.
well, that seems to be a Phoenix thing. I mean, everything being in this book.
I gotta
being-
disagree with that though, because Scott would be an extra Boy Scout, super fucking Boy Scout.
No, he at this point his personality though was more savior of all of mutantdom, and that kind of ramped that up at
Yeah.
this point.
So 6.5.
I'm just
Scott's
picturing a better pocket knife that has like more utilities.
Inspector Gadget.
Scott's kind of flying around Utopia, looking at everything and struggling with the telepathy that comes with the power. And he goes to the moon where it's quieter. Again, the blue area of the moon.
God, you can't have it be the green area. Magenta's the only other one that would work.
He doesn't even need the blue area though, because he doesn't need to breathe.
He doesn't. What it turns out is that he's subconsciously walking to where they had the fight for Jean with the Imperial Guard of the Shi'ar when Jean was being tried and everything. And he walks specifically to the weapon that killed it. This whole time he's thinking in his head of the pain of it, how raw it all feels. But then the duality of him also not feeling anything. Like there's this weird he feels it all, but it doesn't mean anything to him. And he's talking about how he wishes he could just have Jean there, the person who knew him best, to speak with him about this and who knew the Phoenix best. And out of the spot, because they show there's like a burn mark in the moon dust in front of the weapon, indicating that that's where she killed herself. And from that spot, he forms a perfect replica of Jean
Weird.
that starts talking to him out of the moon dust. And they end up having this conversation, and she's talking about how, isn't it hard for you to even think like a person anymore because of all this power, because it's so immense. And she's talking about how for her it was so hard to hold on to because when the Phoenix gave her a glimpse at infinity, like everything else seemed so small. And when it was all so small, it didn't seem to matter as much. And Scott was like, well, that's not going to happen to me. You even told me that, like, you joked that I created repression. If anyone has the ability to control this thing, it would be me. And he's like, well, if you really don't think that you've lost your humanity, then, you know, look at what you're doing right now. You're on the moon talking to a reanimated corpse that you made out of moon dust. Like, what part of that is human to you? And then he's just like, oh, fuck. And then, like, dissolves her into dust and then realizes, like, oh, shit. Okay. That was fucking jarring. Like, there was a point there.
He's just like, spooky ass bitch.
Well, no, but that he has to keep a hold of his humanity. Otherwise, what was it all for? And basically, what he just tells Xavier early on, like, this is him checking himself. Like, okay, I'm feeling it. Like, I'm feeling the power of all of it dwarfing the man that it matters to, and I have to stay that guy. And that's where it ends, is like him reaffirming he has to keep control on who he is, otherwise none of it matters. So it's really good.
Yeah, it does sound good. I'm gonna have to go back and read that.
Yeah. And especially when you consider, like, it's basically just an argument with himself.
Yeah.
Or like a conversation working out what it is.
Also really parallels with later when Jean, as like with the Phoenix, brings back Cyclops. There's kind of a parallel there between the same thing, like a reanimated body coming back and trying to basically telling them what their conscience is saying.
Well, the Phoenix made that, not Jean.
But yeah, the Phoenix did that to bribe Jean.
Yeah, but he's also has a Phoenix in him now.
Yeah, there's that too. And this kind of goes with what because when you think about it too, that wasn't even Jean.
Yeah, that was him.
No, I mean, during that time, that whole trial, because wasn't Jean supposed to be in the bay that whole time in a cocoon or whatever, and that was actually the Phoenix? So
well, and also that's not the last time that Jean died.
Yeah, but that's the time they go to, and it's the Phoenix that takes him there. And so, like, because I always thought that the Phoenix was in love with Scott Summers, like, as an entity, to a degree. Like, it's fickle, and apparently, like, it also has a thing for Wolverine.
I think they say that in
Quentin.
The other book, Phoenix Endsong and Warsong. Didn't they say that the Phoenix wants Cyclops for his blast or some shit?
For his blast.
Strong blast.
Strong blast. Are we back on wieners?
Yeah. That's why Phoenix wants to get inside Cyclops.
Nobody shoots like Cyclops.
But, you know, and this sort of heart-to-heart is kind of him talking to the Phoenix Force and his own conscience at the same time. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. But then AVX-7.
Wait, on 6, forgot an important part. At the very end, he declares no more Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he labels them as a terrorist group.
Yeah, and that's what happens in 7, is they take the word of the Avengers for what they just did. Because what they just did was
kidnap a citizen of their country.
Yeah. And so they start targeting all the Avengers wherever they are and attacking them. And this is when they realize at the end, too, of 6 that Wanda can hurt them. Because Scott grabs Wanda's arm and then, like, a bolt of energy radiates from her into his hand, and he feels it, and he's like, oh shit, this one's different.
Yeah. And also something very important to point out to this, that people who are like arguing against like the Phoenix 5 or saying that it's the Phoenix that is corrupting their mind at all, there are other X-Men that have nothing to do with the Phoenix that realize how fucked up it is that the Avengers kidnapped one of their citizens and are fighting with them.
Yeah, no, they have the moral high ground too. Granted, what they're doing ends up being kind of extreme to a degree.
Well, like, Namor takes it a bit far.
No, for sure. But I mean, like, they start shutting down all their facilities. They go to the Avengers Academy. They shut that down. They shut down Stark's Tower. They shut down their mansion.
Well, Iron Fist says shut up all the time, too.
Yeah. Yeah, who wrote this?
Doesn't have many good
Matt
reports.
Who writes a lot of Hawkeye.
I like Matt Fraction, but, like, why are people saying shut up so often? It's like, what's up? No banter? Just shut up.
Which is
they're
is
all
weird because the
afraid
two
to die.
people who he has saying shut up are the two like people that he's written books for. He's written books for both Iron Fist and Hawkeye.
Well, he's written X-Men books too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So but the two characters he brings in, because he was writing them around this time. So he brings them in and is like, just shut up.
I've
So
written enough of these guys.
during this time, the Avengers, they're trying to figure out, like, because they know they have a weapon against the Phoenix Five, or P.E.N.I.S 5, as they're also known. They know they have a weapon against them with Wanda, but they don't quite understand the scale of that power, or, like, because obviously you can have two things that can hurt one another. It doesn't necessarily mean one's better than the other, especially when the other side has 5 of those things. So, like, the Phoenix could still beat Wanda. It's just concerned now that there is a fight. And so Tony's trying to...
and the individual members are terrified of her.
Yeah, for what she had done to mutant kind. So Tony is trying to figure out with science talk that I don't know is quite accurate. What's the thing from...
Do you know better than Tony Stark?
No, I mean the way it's being written. What's that thing from Princess Bride where they're like, you keep saying this word, I don't think it means what you think it means, or
Well, it's like there's also a whole thing in Doctor Who of like, I gotta reverse the polarity of the neutron flow, which sounds really smart, sciencey, but means fucking nothing because a neutron is neutral, not positive or negative. You can't reverse the
flow. Yeah.
like,
So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of science jargon that I'm like you end up reading, and it's like that doesn't sound right. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And so a lot of that's coming out of Tony Stark's mouth, but main to the point, he's trying to get a reading on what Wanda's power is versus the Phoenix, but they can't. Like none of these battles are lasting long enough to find that out, and so. Doctor Strange is like, hey, I got like a mystic solution that we could spread our teams up, and here's like this amulet. You put it on, and it makes you look like you're Wanda. And so the Phoenix Five are around the world attacking the Avengers, and they're suddenly seeing Wanda everywhere. And like right away, Peter's like, fucking retreat. She's here. And then Magic's like, wait, but she's also here. And Namor's like, but she's also here. And Scott's like, look, fuck, she can't be everywhere. And she's right in front of me, so keep attacking. What are you doing?
well, and I just want to add in that when Cap asks her to lay down some cover, she says, I'll see what I can do. And Vision's like, I cannot suggest any more highly like dimsel of a notion that is. Like, do not see what you can do. Last time you did that, you committed genocide.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I like how shitty he is. To her.
Emma, or right before this happened, Emma actually lit Hawkeye on fire. So she was actually already fucking up.
Right. That happens in their assault. Right?
Yeah.
And they're like, they took out Hawkeye.
That happens right here as Emma's like their other people are disguised as Emma and like Doctor Emma's are as Wanda.
So many characters.
And,
this is right before then. Scarlet attacks
Magic Magic is fighting. Well, I think she's fighting Doctor Strange, making himself look like.
Yeah, the only one who's fighting Wanda is Namor.
Yeah.
Because he gets fucked up.
No, beforehand, Scarlet Witch takes out Magic, and then Emma shows up.
Oh, right. That's right.
And then lights Hawkeye on fire.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm remembering that because that was one of the other skirmishes that happened before.
Right before
this.
Yeah.
Like when they go like all out attacking them, because in that one, Tony was all pissed off that like, hey, you still needed to be there. We didn't get enough of the readings, and she's like, fuck off.
Yeah, because Hawkeye, they think he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, she says go to hell, but she was just there.
Yeah.
Limbo.
But yeah, they think Hawkeye's dead. In reality, he's not dead, and they're like levitating him in Utopia, and they're gonna heal him and then put him in prison.
And by the way, nobody cares that Hawkeye's dead except for the X-Men.
Yeah.
Like they think he's dead, and they're like, well, who's Hawkeye? And then the X-Men are like, oh, we didn't want to go that far, and like we're gonna heal him.
Yeah.
Like we're really worried about this guy that we hurt. And meanwhile, the Avengers are like, yeah,
we need more data.
Like, who the fuck is Hawkeye?
We didn't have a hot guy on this team. Thor's not here.
Emma does say like she didn't want to kill him, but she got mad, so she's like losing control.
Yeah, that she didn't mean to, and that the power flared up on her.
Yeah. Although Namor is like, you should have killed him. I would have killed everybody.
Yeah, and that's I'm not remembering exactly if this was this moment or right after. I think it might have been after Wanda fucks up Namor, but he's talking to Scott, and he's like, "You may be a fine leader, but you're a terrible ruler," because they're constantly
dope.
disagreeing. And then Scott's like, "Yeah, okay, man, walk it off."
He's like under advisement. Namor or something.
Yeah,
Says the prince of a country who's following me.
yeah,
And right before then, Tony Stark is creating that thing to destroy the Phoenix, but it might kill him because he feels all bad about destroying the
yeah.
Phoenix.
The Gundam 2.0.
Yeah, and Black Panther just bitch slaps Tony Stark.
Because he was like, 13% chance it will work, 100% chance I'll die. I'll do it. And he's like, you're a fucking idiot.
Like you're 13%, so science fails. Go beyond it.
I love too that he called him out not as like why would you try to kill yourself? We need you, and he didn't say any of that. He was like, a time like this when like we need everybody we can have, and you're trying to die. Like fuck you,
Yeah, to
dude.
get out of it.
He's like,
yeah,
we're playing sad boy.
yeah. Basically, stop being sad boy Stark. Start fucking coming up with solutions. Like, I'm from Wakanda, the most technological nation on the planet, and I still chew roots to like convene with my ancestors.
Yeah.
Like, the Black Panther is always between, like, walking the fringe of technology and mysticism. Like, they're other shit. Stop being a bitch. So that was, I like that. You can still, I still like the Avengers, but they're so wrong in this whole thing.
Yeah, the only one who is really reasonable is T'Challa the whole time.
Until, like, the one thing that could, turn him happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but again, that's not him being unreasonable. His
No.
country was attacked. He should be pissed off, but he should also be angry at the Avengers for making them attack his
Fucking
country.
Namor turning lakes into tidal waves.
But yeah, he's the only one on the Avengers side who seems to be like in the right the entire time. Like he's actually thinking logically and not just trying to attack the X-Men because they're too powerful.
Yeah. So, Wanda, I was just looking at my next note was T'Challa smacks Tony, and I was just thinking of that panel again. So Wanda does, she fucks Namor up a bit because she just taps his head and is like, fucking go away.
Oh, the jigsaw again.
Yeah,
Turns him into
and he
puzzle
just,
pieces.
yeah, and he ends up on Utopia back together, but like holy shit, that just happened to me. So he's as angry as you can imagine Namor being, plus the Phoenix. And he gets turned down by Scott to attack Wakanda. Oh, also what happens is that they take what's her face? One of Hope's lights. Starts with a T. She's the one who looks like an Atlantean. I can't believe
Sonic?
Yes, Transonic. Because she's with his team, and one of the Wakandans take her, so he knows that she's on Wakanda, or that she was captured.
No, he doesn't know they're on Wakanda. Emma tells him.
No, I'm saying, but it was a Wakandan who takes her. It's like really obvious it was a
okay.
Wakandan warrior when Transonic gets captured. And Emma, after Scott's like, yeah, I'll take it under advisement, she goes to Namor and is like, hey, I think you're right. I think we do need to do more. And she's like, give him, and this kind of goes into what you were saying before. She's like, give him some space. He still believes in his happy endings. He was literally a Boy Scout once.
Yeah, I also want to point out that Namor says this is not a game, but in the same way that DMX does, because it says it panels it as this is not a game.
Doctor Strange teleported them out of there with Transonic on accident.
Oh, okay.
And then you see the Wakanda and somebody dressed like Black Panther, and then Emma seduces Scott, or not Scott. I mean, she does that too, but she just seduces Namor.
Namor.
I just took it back.
Namor.
I used to call him Namor.
She
back
kisses
in the day.
Namor.
Yeah.
Just makes out with his face.
Yeah, well, she goes ahead and kisses Namor.
She tells him they're in Wakanda, and I didn't tell Scott yet.
Yeah, and so he shows up, turning lakes into tidal waves, and then issue 8 happens, and he fucks up Wakanda pretty bad.
Yeah, well, and should mention, as that's going on, Iron Fist shows up to Tony Stark with some other Kunlun people, and they start going on a side quest to go to Kunlun and find out what is going on between like Kunlun and the Phoenix Force, what the parallels are there.
Yeah, it's this thing that Black Panther told Tony needed to happen, technology and mysticism, and he's like,
Yep.
oh, well, what do you know?
He still wasn't
Mystics.
trying, and they just showed
Yeah,
up.
they just show up.
He's like, I guess I got like
He just sort of lucked into it.
yeah, I got like a watch here. I can use or something.
Namor's like the
I hear
worst
this guy is
person.
only $15.96.
Namor is the
pretty
worst person
affordable.
to give that power. Because you got to think he's already a super douche and just wants to
Yeah.
fuck anything up that he can.
Like, Colossus is one of the best probably to get the Phoenix Force, except he also has Sidorak inside of him.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think
So
about
that makes it terrible.
And
that's
he also
actually one of
gets consumed with jealousy. There's a lot of jealousy between him and Ilyana.
I think that gets forced later. I don't think that's real.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's where it goes
Yeah, that's where it goes. I just don't
for
believe
next episode.
I believe that that's forced.
Yeah, I think
Like-
so too.
Well, yeah, and it's like the only real way that you could have Spider-Man take out 2 members of the Phoenix Five.
Is to have them fight
Yeah,
each other.
and you had to have Spider-Man do something big like that because he is the whole heart of the Avengers.
He's the only one who's still a hero.
Yeah,
That's on there. That's an Avenger. He's like, he's the one who's not letting Wolverine get all stomach stabby.
which I love too that they point out in this issue that they're like, we did everything we can and they just got more powerful. And Spider-Man's like, oh, yeah, like, you guys aren't used to that? Because that happens to me every day.
So like, oh, even when you win, you lose. That's me every week.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, not that I liked it, but Namor's going there to like supposedly save those people that they took to Wakanda. I think Hope's there and
just fucking
Transonic,
destroys it.
and he
Yeah.
shows up on a fucking tidal wave yelling war.
Whoa! He just
that's-
destroys the jail first.
That's Atlantean for release my prisoners and have a nice day.
Hey, we didn't see what happens after that. Maybe he says, what it is it good for? Absolutely not.
Or absolutely everything, because
Yeah.
he fucks up Wakanda, man.
Yeah, he might have said, wahoo, yeah.
That is one of the weird things too in 7, because they're talking to Hope like she's our secret weapon, because she's helping us understand these guys, and she's just like, I just don't want you to hurt my friends. I want them to be normal again.
Yeah.
And it's like, where was this
Also, not a
4
secret.
books ago?
They knew.
Where was this right before that? You were calling Scott an asshole. You don't like them. You hate them all. You broke his jetpack
On purpose.
On purpose. You were like, whoops.
Yeah,
So much for
technically
that.
your grandpa. Show some fucking respect.
Yeah. He's only done everything to keep you alive and
The only reason
Exist,
you're
yeah.
alive.
yeah. Well, I mean, and his son,
Yeah, who
But, like, who's-
came from his balls.
but who also like, you know, like he grieved too, and she like was like, you don't get to be sad. Only I get to be sad.
Yeah, that was just
It
your
was my
child.
dad. Like it was my son.
Everybody's parents die. Not
Technically, you're
everybody's
not
child
even
died.
related. Go fuck off.
It's like
You're adopted.
you appropriated my last name.
She did.
He never even loved you.
You scared him. Was a callback to our Schism episode. Yeah. So I always just thought that was a weird tone shift for Hope, because they also draw her like a little girl too. in
Yeah.
that. Like they keep changing the way she looks, and it changes the feeling of like, okay, is she like a young woman, like warrior who's like hardened through traveling through time and trying to survive, to then come and save a people and not understand like who her character's supposed to be, or is she a scared little girl who's caught between a massive conflict of 2 warring, you know, factions?
Yeah, 'cause it's like a big difference. It's like she's 16 here, up now she's 11.
Oh, right before we get into 8 too, because we didn't really talk about it. The Versus happens during 7. Versus 4 ends up being Daredevil and Psylocke.
Yeah.
Which is a really good fight.
Which is weird though, because you don't really see much of Daredevil in this.
No, but he's an Avenger at the time, and they're hunting Avengers.
Yeah.
Because they're outlawed. And it's Thor and Emma. And so the Daredevil Psylocke fight, it's really cool because, you know, Quan-In was a hand assassin and everything, so like she knows all the same techniques as like Elektra, and Daredevil even remarks on how similar she is to Elektra. Meanwhile, like, she's also fighting differently because she's a psychic, so she's trying to read his mind, and when she does that, she's not expecting him to be a blind guy with heightened senses. So
Yeah,
he fucks her mind up.
His fighting's reaction and not really like planning. He's constantly reacting as things are happening.
Yeah,
to him.
but she's doing the same thing. So like at one point she lets it seem as though she overcompensated and she's like falling off the building, and he goes to save her, and so she's like, yeah, that's what I thought. He's overconfident, and then she like turns the fight on to him, like, you know, where he's now on the defensive again, and she's like, yeah, it really sucks to have to like punish a guy for doing the right thing, but like, nah, I'm gonna beat him. The whole time, like in her mind too, she's angry because, like you said, when you brought up how, you know, it's not like the Phoenix Five keep getting portrayed as going too far, but all these X-Men are joining their side because they have a moral point.
Yeah.
And she's like, all the shit we've dealt with, not a single Avenger came to our aid during all these crises. Like, and she's just like, and even Daredevil remarks on how, like, her fighting is different because both she's distracted by her inner thought, but she's more aggressive because of what she's thinking. And so that's, like, I think the only fight that ends in a draw in the Versus books.
Yeah, it
Storm and
would
Black
make a lot
Panther
of
is kind of a draw.
it would make a lot of sense too
Yeah,
that
that's a more depressing one.
but it'd make a lot of sense too that like it kind of ends in a draw after she's using his own like niceness against him, because I think there's probably only like 2, maybe 3 hand-to-hand combatants that could beat Daredevil in a fight, like in Marvel.
Possibly.
She should have won, in my opinion.
He even says,
Hand-to-hand?
She's got telekinesis.
yeah,
So,
she does.
He's got fucking a stick.
Well, that's
You
how
can't
she
move a
fucks.
stick
She
through
fucks him up with
telekinesis.
her psychic blade, but then he starts remarking to
Tony's
her.
like, bullshit.
I'm joking on your bullshit.
Well, no, she actually does have the upper hand, and then he like gets in her head where he's like, you know what, you got a point. We didn't help you, but how long until you have the rest of us on our own little island? And, you know, just got in her head of like a mutant ruling class. What does that really do for the world? And what does she want? And then he runs away. But then the Emma Thor fight was pretty cool
That was
because it
awesome.
seems like Thor's beating the shit out of her while she's like making all these remarks about how he looks gay and how he wants to get pegged.
Which was awesome. She was like talking like she was gonna dominate him.
Yeah.
Put him in some nice things to wear.
Oh, dude, I would bet anything too that Emma would be so down for putting on a strap on.
Dude, she was straight up like, I bet you what you long for is to get put on all fours and have that mane of yours like tugged.
She's like, I'm the woman to do it.
Basically. And then he takes his hammer and like while she's in her diamond form, and he like just like hammers up from her vagina to her head.
Split her cheeks.
Just like literally does split her cheeks. So she shatters, and all the diamond shards go up into the atmosphere, but then they come raining back down onto Thor, and she re-manifests. And she's like, yeah, this force inside of me can't be beaten so easily. Also, like, the Phoenix knows how to put me back together. It did it before.
Yeah.
And then she beats the fuck out of him.
So, getting into issue 8, you notice the Arnold Schwarzenegger impression that Tony Stark's trying? Because I know like he's not actually trying it, but the way that they wrote it, this is like an Arnold line where he's like, "Shut the portal to Kunlun! Close it! Shut it now!"
Yeah. Because at this time, they're on Wakanda, and they're all supposed to be retreating to Kunlun. But because Namor shows up, and they don't want the Phoenix to know about Kunlun, although it should, ancestrally, like you'd think the Phoenix would know.
Yeah, but they've been hanging out for a long time.
What?
Because the Avengers BC stuff, they've been hanging out forever. Like,
Yeah, so
the
they should
Phoenix
know.
has known of like the shit going on in Kunlun.
Yeah. But they're under the impression that it doesn't, and so it can't know. So, like, Namor shouldn't find out about it and enter the portal, because then they're really fucked. So they shove... First, like, Hope and Wolverine go through the portal. Namor shows up, and then it's Tony, and who does he grab?
He grabs the dude...
The Thunderer guy.
yeah, I forget his name, but it's the guy who trains... He trains people who fight...
Dragons?
yeah, I can't remember the dragon's name now. which is weird because I read
The immortal dragon.
Yeah,
The immortal dragon of
but
Kunlun.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Iron Fist dragon. I forget
Yeah.
its name. God damn it! But he just
He
grabs
only-
that dude,
And he only repeats
unsuspecting.
it all the time in that fucking show.
But he doesn't say the name of the.
He was
The
saying
dragon?
Yeah, is it Shao Lao?
Yeah, the
Oh,
Undying.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Shalal the Undying.
yeah, but he doesn't say it in his his Iron Fist speech.
Which is so crazy that he's undying. You're punching your fist into his heart.
Yeah. Well, he's also like the immortal Iron Fist. Like, there's a long history
Of them dying?
Not only them dying, but them dying at 26 or 29. It's one of those two ages that like every Iron Fist except for 2 has died at that age.
Man, they just mean it figuratively, huh?
Yeah.
It's the
Immortally
fist itself.
living on in our hearts.
Fist itself is immortal, not
And
the person.
the dude before Danny Rand, who was the only person to have survived, did it because he ran away from Kunlun and hid his Iron Fist powers.
It's like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I see what happens to these people.
And when he starts using them, he dies instantly.
Damn.
Like, so fast.
Yeah, but Tony goes in and he's like, shut the portal. Fuck all those guys. I gave them a doohickey. So if they make it out of there, they'll be fine. And it ends up being a pretty big fight between Namor and everybody else. And even it's pretty cool what like how it's portrayed for Black Panther when he's like, fuck this, and he's got that giant ass gun and he goes to take on Namor, but then it doesn't work like at all. And he's like, fucking, you think you could do anything to stop me? And he's like, no, I know you're stronger. I was stalling. And then there's the rest of the Avengers. And then they're suddenly beating the shit out of Namor. But then it shows that, like, Namor was just letting it happen. And then he just breaks the Red Hulk's arm.
Well, Namor is flying down towards Cap, and Cap throws a shield, hits him in the neck, and he just keeps going.
Yeah,
Like, it
he's
just
like,
bounces
"Ah,
back
fuck."
to him.
So it takes everyone fighting Namor and then Wanda to show up and for them to have this weird energy exchange. But ultimately, Namor gets overpowered. Meanwhile, it's just all brought to Scott's attention. They're like, hey, did you see the TV? Which I thought was funny that, like, he's near, like, omnipotent now and he still has to, like, watch the news
Yeah.
to find out what's going on in the world.
Also, I just realized that Namor's kind of wearing assless chaps.
Well, they're assless chaps with an ass piece. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like pants on underneath.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like Shawn
He's
Michaels.
he's got a red Speedo instead of the green one. But then, yeah, assless chaps.
He was
are on
jealous
it.
of Scott's.
Well, that's like a target so that Emma knows where to peg.
That's why she was interested in him.
Yeah. Well, Scott never lets her do all those things.
Yeah.
He's the king of repression.
And
You
she-
think anything gets in that asshole? It's too tight.
She probably tries to just so clinch.
He could form diamonds up there. But yeah, they all just fucking gang up on Namor, and he screams Imperious Rex while his eyes are like on fire.
Yeah. So the Phoenix Four that are still out in Utopia, they're like, oh, well, we got to go address that. And they go over there right as he gets struck down. And, yeah. Then Highlander happens.
There can only be one.
Yeah. And they all get the power, and they're like, oh, wait, is this what happens when one of us falls? And it's like, apparently, shit.
like, yeah, we just
We're
get
all-
stronger.
We all just got that much stronger. And the rest of the Avengers are like, shit, wait, so you mean they just get stronger? Fuck. And then that's where that line with Spider-Man happens afterwards.
Yeah.
Because they get away. Because, fuck what they said early on.
It
when
don't
they're-
mean shit now.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying.
Fuck
with
all the presents.
No.
Might as well throw them out.
remember, like, there's like a whole buildup about the portal, about how hard it was to open the portal, and how they couldn't have it open in front of the Phoenix because the Phoenix will know about them and get there. And then Captain America's like, I got a thing Tony gave me, and he just pushes it, and it's a portal to Kunlun, right in front of the Phoenix.
And also,
they all run into it.
the X-Men don't seem to care.
I know. It's so stupid. It's like this whole thing that they predicate that, like, oh, they can't find out, and it takes, the portal's so difficult, and it's just like, boop. through it.
Yeah, and then at that point, Charles is like, Scott, I have to talk to
Maybe it was the son from Teletubbies.
you. Can we have a conversation,
Have you seen
Scott?
that meme? It's so great.
No.
Where it's like, it's like static TV and this, a wife complaining that like, hey, the TV's messing up again, and then the husband in the other room is like, just hit it, and then it pans up and it's a Teletubby who's like getting ready to cry. So fucked up. But yeah, so Xavier's just like, Scott, I'm so mad at you. You've gone too far. And then even like during the fight on Wakanda and stuff, like Captain America was like, Scott's gone too far. And he never sanctioned this.
Yeah, he's giving them too much food and water.
This one fish guy deciding on his own. And then even Captain America in the moment was like, I'm going to go talk to him. We got a rapport. It's like, wait, you have more respect for the guy who's actually causing the atrocity.
Yeah,
Because
because they were.
guy who said no, don't do that.
Yeah, because they're all war buddies. They were in the invaders.
They
so-
killed people together.
Yeah. Who, by the way, Charles Xavier fucked up Namor's head. This is on Charles Xavier.
This Charles fucked up Namor's head?
Yeah.
Yeah. In Invaders. Shows it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that when Charles does that takes place in the 60s.
Okay.
So Namor's head is fucked up until when the invaders comes out and takes place.
So, like, he's more aggro than he should because of Xavier in the 60s?
Yeah, because there's like another part of his personality that is it's a part of his personality that's like, fuck the surface dwellers, we need to kill all of them. That's the other part that Xavier released.
Did Xavier go up to him and was like, hey, you like fish sticks? Then you a gay fish. And Namor was just like, no!
Fuck all surface dwellers.
Like that Darth Vader scene.
No!
All because of a South Park joke?
He's like, goddamn
He
fish
finds out he's
sticks.
Kanye West.
Yeah, Xavier's talking in the sky, telling him, like, stop this or I'll stop you.
Yeah, and then...
He's like, bitch, please, if you
If
could,
could-
you would.
Yeah. And at that point...
You better back the fuck up before
Or
you
you-
get smacked the fuck up.
Yeah, basically. And Scott... that's the weird thing, too, is he doesn't ever try to explain himself while he's the Phoenix. He's just like, you know what? Fuck off. Like, I know what I'm doing.
Because he shouldn't have to explain
And I don't have
food
to-
and
yeah.
water for everybody in world peace. And
Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing that happens with him in the universe is that he doesn't even get a chance to explain himself until after everything happens, and then no one wants to listen to him.
yeah, he's not a
Like during all
he's
of
not a token
Bendis'
Avenger.
run, like he's trying to explain what had happened, and everyone's like, "Fuck you, you murderer piece of shit." He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, they're racist.
Yeah.
They only like their token Wolverine and Scarlet
like,
Witch.
I
and
wonder how many people-
Quicksilver, who's by the way is a fucking villain.
Yeah.
Is he, though?
Yeah, historically, yes.
Well, so is Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, he was a bad
Exactly.
guy. Yeah, they were bad guys.
All three of them are bad guys.
For like
Yeah.
a minute, though.
But if I
They
learned
only
anything
like their
from
bad guys that become their
They're
friends, their pals, that do their bidding, and then they become the good guys.
and I'd argue with Quicksilver, he still leans towards like having bad guy traits more often than not.
Who they had teaching kids.
Yeah,
Oh,
He
the
was an
Avengers did?
instructor during the Avengers Academy.
for shame.
Yeah. Because he was probably trying to sleep with one.
Yeah.
I think she was definitely trying to sleep with him. But he was like,
He was dating
cool.
Crystal at the time, wasn't
Well, technically, all three in the Ultimate Universe are related, and Wanda and Quicksilver fuck each other in front of Wolverine, who's
Right.
their dad.
You've said.
he? Wolverine's their dad.
Yeah.
You've-
Well, it's not stated, but it's heavily like implied that he's their actual dad.
Weird.
Yeah.
He was watching.
Yeah.
He's like staring.
Yeah. Which either way, he's still watching incest, like whether or not you're their dad.
So, it ends with the Phoenix 4 being left, realizing that that's what happens with their powers, and with the Avengers on Kunlun, like, all right, now we got to do this like mystic shit to figure out how we stop the Phoenix and the X-Men.
And it sounds like there's no plan.
Basically.
Oh no, they straight up says.
Yeah, there's no plan.
Like,
It's
we
like,
don't have a
he's
plan.
like, what's the
guys."
plan now? And it's like, oh no.
we evaporate all the water. We kill their crops. we make it so they can't help anybody.
A unilateral offensive maneuver where we destroy the world for peace.
We start
and
shooting
justice.
bombs everywhere, left and right. Follow me. All right, so we bomb North Korea. That will kind of take care of everywhere else. They'll freak out. We send the bombs everywhere. Poison their food, poison their water. What else can we do?
We hear that they just got all this free renewable energy. Destroy those and destroy all those plants.
Like they're gonna go over the top though. You destroy the plants they made and some.
The Joker comes in from another universe just to witness it and like a single tear
Of beauty.
yeah, just like it's just breathtaking. But yeah, that was this issue of Mex-Men. Again, I'm Tony.
I'm Justin.
I'm Devin.
Yeah, go like the Facebook page, Twitter and Instagram. Everything is at Mex-Men Podcast.
And if you want to give us money by way of buying merch, we have that available on TeePublic.
Yeah, we have different types of shirts, not just the one. You can get it long sleeve, short sleeve, V-neck, crew cut, baseball shirt. You can get a hoodie, a zip up, or not.
And when you get those shirts, you can cut them any which way you want to after the fact. It's your shirt. It's your garment. We don't tell you what to do.
Turn it into a vest for all I care.
Yeah.
Your friends might not be happy, or you might not have friends after that, but you do you.
Did you ever want to make a skin fort, but instead of skin, use our shirts?
You want to put
We save people's lives, and you get a fort.
Are you looking at the back of your laptop or the back of your car and you're like, man, there sure is a lot of space here. I should put something there. We have stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a laptop or phone case.
Nice. Sounds like you read that off a paper, but you didn't. I'm impressed.
All of that available at tpublic.com/Mex-Men.
Yeah.
Not X-Men. We are not technically affiliated with them.
They have foreshamed us.
Yeah.
They want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, they've actually sent us several cease and desists.
No, they have not, and we won't. Don't start saying that stuff. Don't start doing that stuff, because then if they ever did, it's like, look, we have proof from like way back in. It's like, no, we never got anything ever.
Well, that's a whole nother thing, but you know what that also is? That's for today.
Hey.